Hey everyone, hope you're all doing well. Thanks for joining me today. Remember, as we're doing this, if you don't feel an exercise is right for you, then modify it, change it, skip it, video it, send it to me, do whatever you feel you need to do. This is going to be a shorter workout, so about half an hour. And so because it's shorter, we're just going to work harder so that we can get an hour's work done in half the time. So come down onto your mat. And we are going to take our legs out in front, feet hip width apart, and let's just roll ourselves all the way back. Bring the feet a little closer to the hips, and then tailbone heavy, arms by your side. Just take 3 deep breaths here. So nice big inhale, breathing into the sides and the back of the rib cage. And as you exhale, feel the waist narrow, the ribs draw together, the tummy muscles drawing in and up. So 3 deep breaths. Try and exhale as fully as you can. And then we will come into some pelvic tilt. So we're going to close the gap between the lower back and the mat on an exhale. And inhale, come back to neutral. Exhale, close the gap. Inhale, back to neutral. Say hello to Tino. And then a few more, just warming up the spine. Keep the back of the neck long. Last one. And then we're going to come into some hip rolls. So we're going to roll up. And you can lift the hips and the spine in one piece. Inhale at the top. Exhale and roll down. Or you can roll the spine up. So whichever you prefer, whichever feels better for you. Taking your time, especially where it feels a bit tight. You can pause and kind of take a nice deep breath, and then as you exhale, think of drawing the muscles and your breath towards those tight bits of your spine. And it sounds a bit strange, but it does work. And we'll do a couple more. Make the most of this relaxing bit. So we're going to move on shortly. And I'm going to come into some arm circles. So we're just going to reach the arms up. But try and move your shoulder, move your arms from your mid back. So think about where your arms connect to. And then try and move from there. So you're moving from here rather than just kind of letting your shoulders flop around. So we're going to take the arms up, back. Don't let the ribs poke up. So you've got to draw everything down. Use your breath and reach the arms out to the side. But don't think about taking the arms too low. I want you to lengthen and reach out through your arms as if we're going to make them a bit longer. Good. And now circle the other way. So you're going to reach long out to the side, reach, and arms come straight down. And we reach and lengthen, and arms down. Keep wide through your collarbones. And we'll do one more. And back to center. Good. Okay, we're going to imagine that we're in the studio and we're coming on to the reformer. So actually, no, we're not. we're going to do some half rollbacks first of all. So roll yourself all the way up to sitting, and then have a little bend through your knees. So not too, you don't want your feet too close towards you, just a little bit further out in front, and squeeze your legs together. And then hold the backs of the thighs, sitting up nice and tall without slouching. So keep a long spine, tuck the chin in, draw your rib cage back, draw your lower back, and then roll back. I'm just going to take my arms here. You can keep yours on your thighs if you want to. And we're rolling, not all the way back, just until our lower back reaches the mat. Coming all the way up to that seated position and then rolling down. So remember to breathe and keep it a nice smooth movement. Good. 2 more. Good. Now we're going to make that a little bit harder. I'm just going to do 3 on each side. We're going to roll ourselves back, not all the way, and keep that lower back drawing back towards the floor. Imagine you're holding like a big beach ball or like a Pilates magic circle, and draw those arms towards each other, and then we're going to twist and back to center and twist the other way, back to center, roll up, roll back and twist, center, twist, center and up. Last one, rolling back, twist. Make sure it's not your arm that moves, it's your whole chest. Back to center, other side, back to center, roll up. I know they're quite hard. So from here, we're going to roll ourselves all the way back, rolling down, and then bringing your feet a bit closer to your hips again. Good. So take the feet and the knees together and really try and wrap them round. So if you can't get that feeling of engaging the inner thighs, then put something you can squeeze between the knees or the thighs so that it gives you that feeling of using those muscles. And we're going to imagine that we're coming on to the reformer, and we're going to do our footwork. So we're going to support the back of the head. So you're not holding onto the neck, but the base of the head, kind of where you've got that little dippy bit in the skull, where the neck meets the head. And we're not pulling, you're just gently supporting. So create that little support and curl up. And then nice and wide through the elbows. You're going to look towards the belly button. We're going to lift our legs up. And we're going to have heels together, toes apart, and point the feet. Now imagine you've got the foot bar and you're inhaling, lengthen, exhale back, lengthen and back. Keep the tailbone heavy. One more. And come back. Have a little rest because these are going to get tiring. So next one, legs are in parallel, and you're going to flex your feet. Think of pushing your heels forwards, and then think of wrapping your toes over. So try not to scrunch your toes, but think long toes, push through the heels, push through the toes, squeeze the legs together, create your support for your head, curl up, and squeeze and reach. Push those heels forwards, lengthen. Make sure those legs are working evenly. Good, keep going, 3 more. and bring it in, roll back. Now, if these are too hard, you can pop your head under not under, but pop a ball underneath your head so that supports you, so you don't have to worry about lifting that bit up. If you haven't got a ball or blocks or something, you could just have your head on the floor, and instead of taking your legs forwards, just take them more up towards the ceiling so that you can really focus on maintaining contact with the spine and the back. So you maybe start with a more difficult version, and then if you need to, you can just go back a level and bring the head and chest down. Do whatever is good for you. These are not easy, so but it's a shorter session, so it's harder, but it gets it over and done with quicker. So that might be better. So next one, so we've done our heels together, toes apart. We've done our arches, and so heels are next. So this time, legs are up, feet are flexed, and you really push through your heels, try and draw your toes back towards you. Now, if you can squeeze your inner thighs here, you might find that connection into your hamstrings and your glutes as well. So support the head, come up, push, and back. Reach, nice long legs, go all the way, don't cheat, or I'll be watching. Good, keep going, 3 more. Good, and back to center. Last one is your lower and lift. Um, you can do this heels together, toes apart, or you can do it feet in parallel. Let's start with heels together, toes apart. So we come up, obviously, heels together, toes apart. That means you're going to have your knees about shoulder width apart, so not wide here, they're not flopping, doing nothing. We're drawing in again through those inner thighs. Curl up, point your toes, lengthen and flex. Point, flex. Oh, I've lost count. I wasn't even counting then. Let's do 2 more. And bring it in, roll back, rock side to side. Oh, it's quite hard work. It's hot in here today. So we're going to come into the 100 after our footwork. We do the 100. Do your version of the 100. If you want to keep your feet on the floor, by all means do that. You can do that with bent knees, straight legs. You can have legs in tabletop. You can have them at 45 degrees. If you're super strong, you can have them all the way down here. But if you do that, please make sure that you're not arching your back, that your core is really strongly engaged. You can keep the head and chest down if you need to. You can start with it lifted and bring it down. Loads and loads of versions. You know, do what's best for you. And if you get stuck, give me a shout. So I'm going to start legs in tabletop, arms reaching nice and long. I'm going to curl up and I'm going to start pumping the arms. Inhale, exhale. And I'm going to lengthen my legs out. Short session, work harder. Keep focusing on your breath. And bring it in, roll back, rock side to side. Good. And then we're going to take it into some arm movements. So we're going to start, now again, I'm going to give you options here. But if you're a beginner, then I want you to keep your feet on the floor. And we're going to start here. We're going to think about those mid-back muscles. And we're going to reach the arms down like you're pressing them through water or treacle, and then lift them up, keep wide through those shoulders. If you're not a beginner, then you're going to take your legs into tabletop, and we'll do the same thing. We're going to start here and reach, press those arms down and up. Good. So although there's no weights or no resistance there, I want you to create that resistance. So you imagine that you've got heavy springs that you're pressing down, and that will work our muscles, resist those springs on the way up. Try and make sure the arms move evenly. So mine are not quite lowering together. Keep breathing. And then we're going to take the arms down and we're going to bend our elbows and push those elbows forwards towards the front of the mat and lengthen and bend and lengthen. So this is quite hard even without springs. We can feel those triceps working, backs of the arms working. Good. We'll do one more. Bring your feet down if they're getting tired. And reach the arms up. We're going to come into some circles. We're going to reach and lengthen. Move from your back. Good. And now we're going to go the other way. We're going to go down and reach and back. Create that tension. So not floppy arms. In Pilates, nothing is floppy. We're never just hanging out of a joint. We're always using the muscles. We're always using our core. And if you're not feeling the exercise anywhere, then try and think about why. Can you get more length somewhere? Can you engage your abs more? Bring those knees into the chest. So gentle rock side to side. We're going to go into coordination. So if you've been doing those ones with your feet here, try bringing them up into tabletop and maybe just skip this exercise and just do a few of the last exercise. Just do a few of these. See if you challenge yourself. If you can't do that, just skip this bit and that's fine. So we're going to come into coordination. So legs start here in that tabletop position. Arms start here in our tricep position. And we're going to inhale, reach everything, hold, open, close the legs, bend the knees, bend the arms, lower the head and chest. Everything extends, open, close, bend, bend, down. Good. Reach, open, close, bend, bend, down. Reach, open, close. Well, I'm going to do that one again because my legs went a bit wayward there. So we're going to lengthen. Good. Try and make sure that as you extend the legs and you open them out to the side, make sure that one leg doesn't go off wide and the other leg doesn't really move. So you try and work them evenly. Think of squeezing the legs together as you come in. Have a little rest here. Just rock side to side. Good. So we're going to do our leg circles. So we're going to do them just with like we normally do our leg circles on the mat. So we're going to straighten our legs, have heels together, toes apart, flex that left foot, reach your leg as long as you can. So create some length here. So when I circle my leg, sometimes it feels a bit crunchy and a bit horrible in there. But if I really focus on creating length from around this whole hip joint, then that goes away. That horrible crunchy noise goes away, and I create space there for all the ligaments and everything to move freely. So if you get that feeling, try and work on length. So even if you have to bend your knee, you can still work on pushing out of your hip joint. So, if your hamstrings are tight, you can still work on length. You just have to think length here rather than length through the leg. So you're just trying to create space. So we're going to take this right leg up and just pull it back towards you. See if you can get a stretch through your leg without using your arms. So more of an active stretch, got to work harder. Pull that leg back. And when you can't go any further, go across, down and around. Keep that left hip nice and still. Good. Good. And the other way. Reach the leg long. Circle it around and reach length. Lengthen a bit more. Lengthen a bit more. One more. Good. Hold for a stretch. Oh, now see if you can reach up towards that ankle. Reach your upper back up. Pull the leg back and lower the leg down. Excuse the dog. Flex your right foot. It should feel a bit longer than your left one now. Point your left foot. Lift the leg up. Try and get a bit of a stretch. Is this your tighter leg? This leg actually doesn't feel as tight to me. And lengthen. And we're going to go across and around. Across and around. 3 more. Good. And the other way. Reach the leg long. One more. And back to center. Pull that leg back. Reach up towards your ankle. See if you can draw it back a little bit more. And lower down. Good. Bring the knees into the chest. Rock side to side. Come up. We're going to go into roll like a ball. So draw those legs back. Lift up, make your spine long, and then reach over and tuck the chin in. So you can have your knees open a little bit here. You don't have to have them together. And then we're going to inhale, roll back. Exhale, roll up. Nearly didn't make it there. Inhale, exhale. Two more. And back to center. Good. Okay, let's come on to our front. We'll do a little bit of a back extension here. So let's start nice and easy. Take our hands wider than the mat. Hands level with your shoulders, elbows lifted. So your elbows are reaching up towards the ceiling. Your arms kind of make a right angle. And then reach the legs back. So they're nice and long. Pelvis pressing down. And we're going to curl up. And we're going to pull the chest forwards like you're pulling it between your arms. Don't overextend the neck. Back of the neck stays long. Abs stay lifted and roll down. So I know it's harder here. So keep reaching those legs long and lift. Good. So you're using your arms a little bit, but I want you to think about using your back a bit more and pulling the chest forwards. Good. So for these next two, I'm going to use the arms a bit more, and I'm going to see if I can keep pulling the chest forwards and lengthen the whole front of the body without my shoulders coming up here. So we've got to pull those shoulders down, lift the chest and roll down. It should feel like a lovely stretch to the front of the body rather than any compression here. So if you're feeling compression here and it doesn't feel nice, which it wouldn't, then don't come up quite so high and work on trying to pull that chest forwards and moving through your upper back. I'm going to do one more. Nice big stretch. And roll down. Good. Step back on your heels. Reach your arms forwards. And we're going to come up. I'm going to go into like a plank, and we are just going to do some leg lifts. So with this position, we're trying to keep our pelvis parallel to the floor, so no rotation of the hips. So let's start. I like to start on all fours, and then we do a little pelvic tilt here. So tuck the tailbone under, and you're going to be looking kind of to the front of the mat. So you don't want to be lifted here. You want the back of the neck nice and long, and equally don't drop your head right down, although that is tempting. So we're here, we're nice and strong through those arms, so no sagging in the chest, push the floor away, little pelvic tilt, step back with your right foot, push that heel back, tuck your toes under, and then push back with your left leg, bring your heels together, toes apart, and bring yourself into a nice long straight line. So you can see there that that's roughly a straight line. I don't want my hips to drop down, that's not a good position at all, and I don't want them too high. So find that point where you're really working those abdominal muscles and push back through your heels. So don't come here, keep pushing back. Good. Hold. Now let's see if we can lift one leg without wobbling through our pelvis. I'm going to reach that right leg back and I'm going to lift and tuck under. Left, lift, and switch. You can see it's not lifting that high because I'm keeping the pelvis nice and still. Last one. Good. Bend your knees and just sit back on your heels and reach the arms forwards. Good. Okay, roll up to sitting. I'm going to come onto our side. I'm going to do some legs. So not too much longer. You're almost done. Okay, so use the back edge of the mat to make sure that you're in a straight line. That's the easiest way of getting straight. If you try and do it yourself, you're more than likely going to end up with your shoulders in front of your hips, which isn't what we want. So if you use the back edge of the mat, you know that that's straight, and then slide your feet up so the feet are still in line with your shoulders and your hips, and keep this top hip forwards. So we're going to do 10 with the feet, 10 knee lifts with the feet down, 10 with them up, and then 10 with an extension. So keep this top hip forwards. You rest your hand here, engage your abs, and we're going to lift and lower. So you might want to count 10 yourself because you know my counting is shocking. I just can't do too many things at once. I think that's 5. I think we've got 5 to do. Good, one more. Lift the legs up, 10 more here. Keep that top hip forwards. Try and feel it open your hip joint. Good. 5 more. Try and look straight ahead. Last one. And lift, extend, bend, down. Lift, extend, bend, down. Good. Keep going. 5 more. Should start to feel the burn. Round about now. Good. Last one. And down. Bring the legs to 90 degrees in front of you. Lift this top leg. And we're just going to pulse it forwards for 10. Pulse. And again. Good. And down. Straighten the legs to the front of the mat. Take this top leg forwards, bend the knee, shin on the mat, flex your bottom foot, reach it long, and lift. Good, one more. And now we're going to pulse, so we go up, up, up. And again. Good. And we're going to do that on the other side. We're nearly there. So line yourself up with the back edge of the mat. Bend your knees. Make sure your feet are in line with everything else. Hips stacked and forward, so you don't want this top hip to roll back. Hand just resting down and lift. Good. Two more. And lift the feet. Keep the sides of the feet together. Oh, I think I might have done 11 there, I'm not sure. And then lift, extend, bend, down, up, extend, bend, down. Good. Five more. Good, and down, bring the legs down to 90 degrees or up to 90 degrees, lift up and pulse. And 10 more. Good, bring that leg down, straighten the legs, top leg in front, bend the knee, flex the bottom foot, and lift and lower. Push through that heel and take it up and pulse. And 10 more. Good, and lower all the way down. Good, turn over onto your back. And then bend your knees, lift the right leg up, flex the foot, take the ankle onto the thigh, bring that leg up. Tino is going to help again. We're just going to hold it here. And then bring that side down. And we'll do the same on the other leg. Just stretching it out. Back to center. Good. Okay, we're going to come onto all fours. We're just nearly finished. And we're just going to come into a nice big cat stretch. So round the back. Push the floor away with the hands on the knees. And back to neutral. Let's do one more. And round. And back to neutral. And then just come down to sitting. And we'll come into a little side bend. So just rest one hand here and go over. Try not to reach forwards. Keep the chest open. And back to center. Last one. Back to center. Circle your shoulders. Well done. See you soon.